we have another visitor, Nick Hausman. Hello. So we're a small, intimate group, it looks like, here at 8 o'clock in the evening, for us anyway, out here in the Eastern Daylight Time. But I'm happy to see those of you who are here, and hello, Leah, as well. So welcome, everybody. I'm excited to be able to hear you sing and to work with you a little bit. As Jessica said, I'm Kerry Jennings. I'm the voice area coordinator and the director of opera at DePauw University, which is a college of liberal arts in Greencastle, Indiana. We're about an hour outside of Indianapolis, and we have a wonderful school of music here, and we're mighty in our voice area. And I'm always happy to come to the Classical Singer Expo and convention to do these master classes and to get to hear such wonderful young singers. Holly, I know what you're going to sing. I think Fiocca la neve. And Cooper, you can let me know what you're going to sing when we get to you. All right. Holly, would you like to sing first?
Yes, but actually, I know you didn't get it, but I changed it last minute.
That's okay. What are you going to sing instead?
I'm gonna sing My Heart is Like a Singing Bird by C. Hubert H. Parry.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
Ready? My heart is like a singing bird whose nest is in a watered shoot. My heart is like an apple tree whose boughs are bent with thick set fruit. My heart is like a rainbow shell that paddles in a purple sea. My heart is gladder than all these because my love is come to me. Raise me a days of purple and gold, hang it with vair and purple dyes, carve it in doves and pomegranates, and peacocks with 100 eyes, work it in gold and silver grapes, in leaves and silver fleur-de-lis, because the birthday of my life is come. My love is come to me.
All right, thank you, Holly. That was beautiful. Since I don't have the music in front of me, I can't really give you pitches as we figure out a couple of places to look at. So I may have to rely on you to give me a little bit of information. But that was really, really beautiful. Holly, tell us all a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what year you are in school.
I am 16 years old. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and I am a sophomore at Clayton High School.
Great. All right. We have a couple of students coming here from St. Louis area, and I've taught a number of students from St. Louis. So it's nice to meet another person, another wonderful singer from that area. One of our graduates that just graduated a couple of years ago is one of the young artists there at the Opera Theater of St. Louis.
Oh, I trained there. I'm trained.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, we've had a number of students. I actually did a master class for the Monsanto program there a couple of years ago. So that's good. They're always wonderful students, and so we're happy to get to know another one. All right, good. So tell me, let's talk just a little bit about what you think about what your thought process is and your what's happening physically when you take breath in, and then also how you use it, what your idea of support or your energy source is with the breath. Just give me kind of an overview of what your thought process is there.
So I take a breath earlier, sooner, earlier, like a couple beats before the song starts. And as I sing, as I breathe, I think about the meaning of the song, like meaning of the line that I'm going to sing.
Okay, good. What is the actual physical sensation that you have once you begin to initiate sound, and what you think about other than just kind of the meaning of the phrase, but with regards to the shape of the phrase? For instance, if you all of a sudden have a leap to the top of the voice from the middle voice, is there anything specific that you think about?
I think about going more out instead of forward in my voice.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, what I would like to hear just a little bit is one of those phrases that kind of, I think it may go to a G or somewhere around there in the voice, where we have a leap into the higher voice. And I would like for you to think a little bit more like a rubber band or something elastic, because what I hear a little bit as we approach the top is that we kind of hit at the top, or we're striking at the top note. And what I would like for it to feel a little bit more is if you're kind of pulling to it and then also pulling through it and away from it. So the high note doesn't necessarily feel like the climax of the phrase, but that it's just an embellishment because you're still going toward the end of the phrase with the text. Generally in English, the important words, like other languages, is at the end of the phrase. And so even if we have a high note in the middle, emotionally, because you're talking about the emotion of the phrase, we're usually going to something toward the end of the phrase. And I think if we can feel that a little bit more. What key is this in? Do you know off the top of your head? That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. So when we're da da dee da ba da ba dee da da, when we're going across the top of the voice there a little bit, can you just sing a couple of the first lines a cappella,
Sure.
and then I will we'll pinpoint one of those phrases. Okay.
My heart is like a singing bird whose nest is in a watered shoot.
Right. So when we sing my heart, yeah. So we don't ba da dee da 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 da, but we really pull all the way through that. So the G isn't the important note. It certainly requires support, and it certainly requires that you stay on the bow, so to speak. But make sure that that doesn't feel like that's where you're going. Sing that first phrase again.
My heart is like a singing bird whose nest is in a watered shoot.
Good. So when we do as we come off of that, and that's a much better approach this time. It was a much better approach as we come off of it, because the second note in the phrase, we come from the high voice right into the passaggio, and then we travel through the passaggio into the middle voice. Make sure that you are not exacting any pitch change laryngeally, that you don't feel anything in the throat as you're moving from pitch to pitch. Let your brain, your resonance, and your breath do all the work for you. It may feel a little less precise to you, but that's okay. If you slide around a little bit, I don't care. What I want you to do is feel that real pull through the phrase a little bit more. Can you sing that one more time?
My heart is like a singing bird whose nest is in a watered shore.
Very good. That was really, really beautiful, Holly. Does that feel different to you at all?
Yes, it does.
That was super. I really, really can you describe for yourself? It doesn't have to make any sense to me at all because I'm not the one doing it. I'm just giving you information. But can you describe for yourself how that felt different?
It felt like the voice is more flowing.
Yeah, that was great. It was beautiful, beautiful legato. Everything felt really lined up. It felt like one unified instrument, and there were kind of no, kind of speed bumps along the road there. That was really, really beautiful. Where is another phrase that does that same thing? I'd like for you to find another place that does, or something similar.
Oh, yeah. Hmm, that petals in a purple sea.
Hmm. So right when we're again when we're leaping to the top, and particularly as we come out of the leap into a note that goes into the passaggio or into the middle voice, again just feeling that there's no action that in the throat, that you're just really letting the brain, your breath, and your resonance, as you're staying in the resonance the whole time, do all of the work for you. Do that same phrase again.
That petals in a purple sea.
There you go. Yeah, 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 yeah. And what we get also from that is that we're getting just a little bit more resonance in the sound too, because there's nothing impeding your airflow there, because you're not doing any kind of articulation in the larynx, and so there's no impediment. Everything just continues to resonate and ride very freely on that stream of air, and that's very, very beautiful. I like that very much. Can we go to the very end where you have that highest pitch? Can you sing just a couple of phrases at the very end to get to the highest note?
Because the birthday of my life is come, my love is come to me.
Very good. It was very good the first time. That's already better. It's already feels just a little freer to me, because you're not accessing anything, any pitch change from the throat, but you're just letting your brain and your breath do the work for you. What do you and your teacher talk about with regards to support, or is that a word that your teacher uses?
Yeah, like support, like deeper breath, rounder vowels.
Okay, good. So when you go to what is the high note there?
It's A.
A, yeah. Okay. Because an A is an interesting spot in the high voice. B flat is the place where, for sopranos and tenors, we start to have just a little bit more of an acoustical change, and we might add just a little bit kind of more snarl in the sound to get kind of up and over into this different place. At an A, we can still keep that pretty much in that round plummy place that you're talking about, right? So long as it maintains its support. So what I talk to my students about support is the idea, so long as the abdominal muscles have released, because they have to release at inhalation so that the diaphragm can flatten. And then we need that, what we call appoggio, appoggiare, to lean against, right? To lean. And so the support is, I describe it to my students as kind of once the abdominal muscles have released, that then the outer layer that wants to come in, because it wants to come in because the body naturally wants to yield, is kind of met a little bit from the inside of the abdominals. And so they kind of lean against each other a little bit, particularly as we go to the high voice, because for the high voice, we don't need a lot of air. We need more support. And so as you approach that skip to the A, I want you to just imagine in the abdominal area that there's just a little bit of resistance to the airflow, so that you, from the inside, we think about leaning out as the outer layer of the muscles want to come in just a little bit. So we have this kind of nice friendly massage. So it's flexible. I don't want it to get hard and tough. But let's see what happens if you think about that. Can we do that same phrase?
Because the birthday of my life is come, my love is come to me.
Very good, Holly. What does that feel like to you if you think about that little bit of leaning sensation?
So it feels like the sound is more like free, like
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. That was great. It sounds so easy. When you add that little bit of lean there and you produce such an easy, free sound up there, it lets us know immediately that there's a whole lot more left up there. It lets us know that the B flat, the B, the high C, those are all already very easy notes for you if you kind of approach them that way. I thought that was really, really beautiful. And it took just a little bit of the edge off of the sound. It kept it just a little bit more in the beauty, kind of restrained, controlled in all the best ways, kind of beautiful sound there. I thought that was very good because it didn't sound like there was any extra work vocally. The body was doing all the work for you. I thought that was great.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Holly, that was beautiful. It's really, really beautiful to hear you sing. I'm happy to know another singer from that program there in St. Louis.
Thank you.
Thank you for singing for us tonight. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
All
That
right.
was lovely, Holly. Thank you.
Let's see. I'm looking in the chat.
I think we're going to go to Cooper next.
Great.
All right. All right. Hello, my name is Cooper. I will sing Del Cabello Más Tu Ti by Fernando Obradors. Del cabello más sutil que tienes en tu trenzado, tiene una cadena para traerte a mi lado. Una carras en tu casa, chiquilla quisiera ser, para besarte en la boca cuando fueras a beber.
All right. Cooper, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was expecting it in the tenor key, and then all of a sudden it's down a third from what I expected. I was like, whoa, what key is that? Trying to figure it out. Anyway, So, do you know? Have you studied this composer enough to know if this is in a particular Spanish dialect?
I have not. I believe he's in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
But that is my extent.
Okay, because I think that this should be sung in a Castilian dialect. I think. And so when you have del cabello más sutil que tienes en tu, I think it should be trenzada with the th, with the th sound and not the s sound. Y hacer una cadena para traerte a mi lado, una carraza en tu casa. Chiquilla quisiera ser para besarte, and the rest of it's fine. And good that you got the cuando fueras a beber, because there are editions that say a besar, which is wrong. So you got that. I think that all of your Z's in here should be TH, because I think this should be sung in a Castilian dialect.
Okay.
But check that out, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. So look up the composer and see what it says about that. It's very beautiful, very beautiful. Can you just speak the first line for me?
Del cabello más sutil.
Great. Okay, good. So just a cappella. Can you just sing that first line? I want you to speak it one more time.
Del cabello más sutil.
Good. Now I want you to sing it with that same kind of resonance. Don't all of a sudden think, ooh, I'm singing.
Okay.
Okay, let me see what you get. I think the first note's an A.
Del cabello más sutil.
All right, Cooper. So tell me what that feels like versus what you just did a couple minutes ago.
It felt a lot brighter sound, and it felt like it was placed more forward in my mouth, more like near my nose, or a better place would be behind the top row of my teeth. Yeah.
Great. That was beautiful. I will also say that now that you've gotten the sound, yes, we can call bright, forward, all of those things. I like to say that it's in balance because every singer needs to have what we call chiaroscuro, right? So we need to have the light and the dark. We need to have the bright and the dark, right? So you've still got all that beautiful, wonderful space around the sound, and you still have your natural depth to the sound, but now there's a clarity of sound that also allows the vibrato to spin more evenly and more like within the resonance.
Okay.
So now we've got a beautiful resonance in the sound because we have more what we call nasopharyngeal resonance, which is, like you said, it kind of feels like it's above the teeth now. So we've taken it out of the mouth. Del cabello, it's out of there, and this is too low for me, but del cabello más sutil, now the sound is kind of up in there, right? So if I were singing it in the high, del cabello más sutil, now the sound is up there where it belongs. Every voice, but particularly voices that are predominantly chest voice based voices, need to use the spoken voice as an informer for the rest of the voice. Okay. If all of a sudden you announce yourself and you announce the title of the song and I hear this voice, and then all of a sudden you start singing and I hear something completely different, something's getting in the way, right? We're getting in singer mode all of a sudden. So I want you to do that again. Speak the first line again.
Okay. Del cabello más sutil.
Good, now sing it again.
Del cabello más sutil que tienes en tu trenzado, que deseo una cadena para traerte a mi lado.
Okay, very good, very good, very good, Cooper. see, all of a sudden now I hear a different singer. I will challenge you to go back and really hammer these pitches out a little bit more, because we're when we have tienes en tu trenzada idea ser una cadena para traerte. We're changing pitches at the wrong place. So just go back to your music. It's a really beautiful, beautiful voice, but I want to challenge you to be absolutely accurate with everything that's on the page. Now, same question for you that I had for Holly about what your thought process is about what happens at inhalation and then how you use your breath. Tell me about that.
So when I first started to breathe, I figure out the song and I know where I'm going to breathe.
Yeah.
Where those are. I try to breathe down, not necessarily down and out like some people say. I just try to keep my breath so none of this is changing, and I just have enough air to where I can sing the phrase with the most fullness and the most power I can.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit, because yes, you can over stuff the lungs, and we don't want to do that. But there are things that we need to have happen in order for you to be able to support and for you to be able to use the breath efficiently. And that down and out thing is not a push thing, right? So you're right to avoid pushing anything out, but you absolutely must allow the abdominal muscles to release. And that will feel like something is going out, because when you release the abdominals, that's when your diaphragm flattens. Your diaphragm cannot do anything unless it is acted upon by something else. And the something else for the diaphragm to flatten so the lungs can get pulled down to be able to create the vacuum that allows the air to come in, the abdominals have to release. My old teacher used to call it jelly belly. So you just have to let them out. They just got to hang out. And at the same time that you do that, the rib cage has got to expand. So you're right also not to feel like anything is going up and in this direction, but we must feel width. So we need to feel width and we must feel release, and that's what brings the air in. And then what I was talking to Holly about is, that kind of leaning sensation is making sure that we're not all of a sudden then releasing all of the air, because we then have to manage it. And so when you get to the higher part of the voice, when you're singing you have to be able to feel that depth. You've got to be able to manage your air with that leaning sensation, and you'll have a better legato and you'll manage your breath a little bit better. So once you go back to the beginning, making sure, because this is a short piece, making sure that you feel the abdominals release. We tend to walk around with them sucked in all the time because that's what we do, and you got to let them hang out. Vanity goes out the window as a singer when we breathe. Just got to go. You just got to let them hang. Open your rib cage and then stay in that inspiratory position and keep the simplicity of your sound. Don't try to make it all of a sudden really baritone-y. Let it be you, okay? Let's try that again.
Belcapeo masuti, et ies entu trenzado, ed una cadena para traerte a mi lado.
Okay, good, Cooper. Tell me what you think about all of that.
There is definitely a fullness to this new style of breathing. There's definitely a fullness that comes with it, and it also takes longer, I feel like.
Yes, I mean, it absolutely, in the beginning, because we're not used to releasing our abs, it feels like it's a longer process, but eventually it won't feel so long. You'll be able to do the exact same thing very quickly, because the muscles will have learned to do that, But in the beginning, yes, it feels like it's like this two-phase process that takes longer than you would like. But if you keep doing it, eventually those muscles get accustomed to it, and you can even do it in a split second when you have to take a really quick breath. But right now, what the yield, even if it's taking you a little bit longer, the yield for us as a listener, and then ultimately for you as the singer, is a much more beautiful, free, resonant sound. And that's what we want.
All right.
Can you finish the song that same way?
From Unal?
Yeah, unal carrace en tu casa.
Una carrace en tu casa, chiquilla quisiera ser, para besarte en la boca, cuando fue la raza beber.
Okay, Cooper, that's really, really beautiful. It sounds like a different singer than it did 5 minutes ago. I mean, you still sound like you, but you sound more like you. And it's really beautiful, and I like it a whole lot. So when you sang para, all of a sudden I'm like, who's this singer? Right? I mean, it was really, really beautiful. Be careful on fueras, that you don't breathe in the middle of that word. So when you have cuando fueras a beber, you sing cuando fue, breath, ras a beber, right? Cuando fueras a beber. You need to make sure that you do that whole thing. And then make sure before you then sing that last that you let everything open and you let everything release.
Right.
Can you just sing cuando fueras a beber and then sing the last ah?
Okay.
Cuando fueras a beber,
Yeah, because now you're also going to have more control over that, because now you have release in the throat, you have that beautiful connection to the bottom of the body, and then you're able to do a nice beautiful diminuendo on that because the throat is not involved. It's all about the body, and that's what you need to do. That was really beautiful. I enjoyed that a whole lot. What can you take away from that? What can you now go and apply to other pieces?
Definitely this concept of the breathing concept we talked about, getting that full breath and releasing my body, and then using that space and all that breath to have a full sound and sound like me, as well as not
singing like this and trying to be a man.
and singing.
Right. How old are you?
I'm 17.
17, right? You know, I mean, you already sound like a man, right? So don't feel like you need to make anything extra. It still needs to sound like you, because then you're going to build technique on that, and your voice is naturally going to mature on what is naturally you, and not on a contrived sound trying to sound older or richer, because you cut yourself off at the knees a little bit that way. Good. Where are you?
I'm in Washington State, about an hour from Seattle.
Okay. I lived in Seattle for 5 years.
Oh yeah.
So I know Washington State pretty well. All right. Awesome. It's really nice to meet you. It's really nice to hear you. That was beautiful, Cooper. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right. Jessica, did we have any volunteers?
Yes, we did. Leah is going to volunteer. I think she has a question for you, but yeah.
Okay.
It's 8 minutes and 45 seconds. I was told that might be a little bit too long, but I've been singing it in that length the whole time.
What is it that you have?
Sposa son disprezzata by Vivaldi.
It is. Do you have a cut of it, or is there a portion of it that you could? Is there a place where you can start it and cut off? Because that is quite long. And if you sing 8 minutes, that puts us to 8:43, and then we have basically only a little time to work, and we'll be done. Why don't you just allow me to cut you off at some point?
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you start it, and I'll cut you off. Good. Leah, can we stop there? Is that okay? Wonderful. All right. Good. Because I want to leave just a couple minutes here at the end for anybody to ask questions if they would like to. That was beautiful. So tell me, because you said you had sung the whole thing in another class. What have other teachers addressed with you in this particular piece?
In this particular piece, I've gotten that I need to get my melismas a little bit more airy, like more air into them. I've gotten I need to make my ah vowel more flat. I've gotten manka, not manka, but manka. I've gotten elye, not elye, like I was doing something weird, but elye. I've gotten eye technique, the look to camera at times.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
They make sure they keep looking at me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Yeah.
Facing the top.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Good. So I was just curious what had already been addressed. And yes, for all of us that are having to do our business on the camera, for the camera these days, one of the things that we did during our opera rehearsals this year, because we were doing everything virtually, was to bring in Laura Osnes, who is Tony Award nominee. To talk about singing for the camera, because they were all going to be recording their stuff at home. And it's a very different thing, right? Because we don't want to stare at that green dot the whole time, but we also need, though, to make sure that our audience is engaged. And it can be, a different kind of, how we would normally interact. Anyway, good job. I thought it was beautiful. I think you have a beautiful, beautiful voice. And I don't want to sound like a broken record with everyone, but I am curious also with you about what your concept is about release and support, inhalation, all of those things. What things are you doing?
Expansion of the ribs, drop the belly completely, drop. That's your support. If you're not to the ground, you're not right. You're not gonna survive. And yeah, just get enough air and support it. Don't collapse.
Good. So what do you do, because yes, I agree with all of that. What do you do then when you initiate sound? Is there a particular sensation that you're going for physically as you begin to make sound, and what you do throughout the phrase?
I raise my both palates, to be honest.
Sure.
Both palates. Raise both palates and release.
Okay. Can you, will you just sing the first phrase for me again? I'm not sure what key we're in. Let's see. Do you know what your beginning pitch is?
I guess C.
Yep.
Da. Sanctis Fritzada.
Okay, good. Can we stop right there? Very good. So when you have on the F, right, and we're on what we would refer to as a fronting vowel, some people might call it a front vowel. It's on che, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you have the fronting vowel, the vibrato spins in the resonance, we'll call it, I think, much, much better. It circles around the sound in kind of a quicker, more concise way. Sometimes on a backing vowel, like an ah or an o. To me, it sounds like it vibrates a little too slowly around the pitch. And so that's why I was asking about the breath. And I know this is conceptual and not anything specific technically, but when you sing sposa, at the very beginning, is that the first word? Is it sposa?
Yes.
Yes. So in that O vowel, sposa, I want you just to think that the spin of the vibrato only spins within the place where you feel like the pinpoint of your resonance. Wherever you feel that O vowel, oh, wherever you feel it resonating, that's where your vibrato spins, and only there. Can you just sing that first word? Right, because we get just a little bit, it's very pretty, but we get a little bit of spo. It vibrates just a little bit too far under the pitch. It's oscillating a little slower than I would like. And so that's why I was asking about the breath. Don't let the slowness of the beginning of this aria cause you to think that there is anything slow about your breath energy. So sposa. See if you can feel every little 16th note that is in that sustained long pitch. good. Yeah, it's picking up just a little bit, which is good. Can you just... Actually, we'll do it in minor since we're in minor anyway. Can you just sing sposa? So do just kind of, you know, almost like we're going to do a trill, but we're not going to sposa. Just to keep things loose. Yes, yes. Because after you went the when you got back to the C, all of a sudden the vibrato is spinning more into the high part of the resonance. And that's why I wanted to add the upper note to it, so that you feel more of that pitch rather than that pitch in it. It's got both. The vibrato spins around both of those pitches, but I would like to hear more of the D flat in the oscillation than the B natural in the oscillation as you're sustaining it. When that happened, do you feel anything different at all?
It feels much freer.
Okay, good. Yeah, see, the other one just, it feels like the truth of the matter is that we do sing on held air. We can't just have, we can't have the air just spilling out all over the place. But the other one, though, even though we're singing on held air, feels a little bit held laryngeally, right? It feels like the trapping of the air is happening somehow subglottally instead of in the body where it needs to feel more trapped, which is low in the support, so that this then can just spin freely up there. I thought that was really beautiful. And so I would experiment anytime you have a sustained pitch that might feel like the vibratos. I say, well, that's a little slower maybe, particularly at my age, you know, then experiment just kind of nudging it up to the pitch above as if we're going to trill, you know, kind of thing, so that you feel the upper part of that resonance all the time and not the lower part of the resonance. And I think it will keep it up there. So now the phrase that starts on the F and you have that sustained F, which is already very good, just think the same thing and sing that phrase that starts on the F. Yes, because then when you got to da, that note, which was on a backing vowel, now the vibrato is spinning more true on that pitch as well. This is, I mean, these are minor things. You sing it very, very well. I think the voice is very well balanced. There's lots of beautiful things happening. The only thing that I would pick up on is to play around with that breath energy and the idea of allowing the vibrato to be in the resonance and never anywhere other than in the resonance, and so that we get that true spin all of the time, even in something that's as slow as a tempo as this. I like that very much. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Very good. Leah, thank you. I thought that was beautiful. It's I don't hear this aria very often, and it was really nice to hear it. Thank you for bringing that to us. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was wonderful, Leah. Thank you, everyone, for singing. This has been wonderful. We have a few minutes that if anyone has any questions for Kerry about DePauw, about his own work, about anything that we've talked about today, we would love to be able to do that, to have him answer questions. Maybe to get some ideas going. Kerry, do you mind telling us a little bit about DePauw?
Not at all. Yeah, we're a small liberal arts college here in Greencastle, Indiana. There are about a little over 2,000 students in the university on the whole. And we have a wonderful School of Music, about 150 students within the School of Music. Voice area is the largest of the areas within the School of Music, about 60 voice majors. We offer the BM in vocal performance as well as the BME in music education. The BMA, which is a Bachelor of Musical Arts, which is a hybrid degree that is housed here in the School of Music, but you also have another area of concentration in the College College of Liberal Arts. So it's similar to a double major. Although we also do have a double major. And then we also offer the 5-year dual degree program where you get a BM and a BA. And so you get a BM in vocal performance and then also a Bachelor of Arts in whatever your other area of study is in the College of Liberal Arts. It's an undergraduate only institution. So all eyes are on freshmen through 4th or 5th year seniors the whole time. There are no graduate students here either to teach you or for you to compete with for roles, for the opportunity to sing with the orchestra in the concerto competition. Our graduates go on to really, really top tier, wonderful graduate programs. The few that we have graduating this year, the soprano that is unfortunately leaving my studio this year as going to Yale next year in their opera program. They had one soprano opening, and they, after pre-screenings, heard a little over 300 auditions, and she is the one soprano who got that position, so we're excited for her to go and work with Gerald Moore. My tenor that's leaving me got a full ride to Florida State, plus a stipend to go there. And I also have another student at Yale who went in the early music program there. And our other students have gone on to Rice, to New England Conservatory, and Eastman. You name the big school, we probably have someone going there, and usually they're going not having to pay anything or having to pay very little. And I think part of that is not just the training that they get here at DePauw, but the fact that it is an undergraduate only institution and they get a lot of experience, a lot of opportunities here. So we're proud of what our alumni are out there doing right now. And we always have somebody in the finals and placing here at the Classical Singer competition as well. Last year, second place was David Young in the classical division. A year before that, second place was John Cotton in the classical division. And we also had 5 finalists in musical theater and in the classical divisions. And so we like to do a little bit of everything here. And we're hopeful that those that are competing this year, you may see a couple of them pop up at the semis or the finals next month when it rolls around.
Great. That was some amazing information. I had no idea that DePauw had that kind of a reputation, but now that you mention it, I do recall all of those people from the college.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what, I feel like on some level we're the country's best kept secret, because, you say DePauw and people think you're talking about DePaul, which of course is a fabulous institution, but we are not in Chicago and we are not that school. And there are other programs that are very similar to us that are wonderful, like Lawrence and Oberlin and Vanderbilt, that are very similar in scope to the kind of university they are. And they are wonderful institutions, and but we think we also do something very special here and are proud of the students that we produce.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions after what Kerry said?
All of mine were answered.
Great.
Good
job. Anticipating needs. We love it.
We also, I should mention that at the convention next month, we will be giving over $350,000 in scholarships to DePauw.
Always great for scholarships.
Yeah. So, stick around. Come to hear the singers and compete if you're not competing, because that's how I get to know people, is through these master classes and then also by judging. And I get to hear a bunch of great singers and throw a little bit of DePauw money that way, which is always exciting.
Yes. So there's your reminder to make sure to get your preliminary videos in by the 1st, because that's the deadline. And we really want everyone to have an opportunity to be seen and heard and to compete. We give, I think in total between all of the different universities, there's over a couple $1 million worth of scholarships given out every year. So that's really something to look into. I guess if nobody has any questions, Kerry, looks like you just put your email in the chat.
I
Great.
did. So if you want to contact me directly, then I can, of course, direct you to the DePauw websites and, and stuff like that, so you can check us out more. But just email me, particularly if you're interested in one of the scholarships that we might be able to offer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you.
This has been a pleasure. And we just got one more day of this and a couple more classes. So we'll see you guys later.
Thank you all. Thank you, Jessica.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you, singers.
Goodbye.
Thank you.